All right, we are finally live. I'm here with Taylor Mulholland.
Yep,
That's how you
me.
say it?
Yeah.
Mulholland? Cool.
Yeah.
So Taylor is a very interesting person off the bat. So we've only met one time before at the sauna place that we go to. They had a Thanksgiving soiree, and we were just kind of hanging around, eating turkey or whatever. And Taylor is talking about her astrological signs.
I'm an astrologer. Of course, I didn't know anyone here. So I had to open up that I'm an astrologer and let everyone know who I am.
At Ember and Ice.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That's how it came up. So she's talking about signs, and she's saying, yep, I'm a Taurus sun, Aries moon, Cancer rising. And I was just sitting there eating some turkey, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? Those
I
are my
watched
signs.
you throw your fork. You threw a chicken on the plate, and you were like, what?
Like, no way.
It was like
No
such
way.
a theatrical moment.
Interesting, because it struck me and it like started to make sense. I was like, wait, those are my signs.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wait, when were you born? So Taylor was born on the exact same day, same year as me, May 14th, 1996. We were born 45 minutes apart, right?
55.
55. I was born 9/15. So now if you want to track all my astrological human design type shit, go for it. You were born
8/25.
Okay. So we have already off the bat, that's weird.
That's weird.
Well, that's weird. But then this is what makes it even weirder. So we were talking, and I was like, oh, yeah, I do a podcast. Like, maybe we could do a podcast together. And she's like, oh, what's it called? And I'm like, it's called Spiritual Fuckboy. And then, so what's the name of your podcast?
Spiritually fucked.
Okay. Does that make any fucking sense? Any sense? Like,
It
how?
makes sense to me because I can see it in our chart.
Say more
Of
to
where
that.
it is. Yeah. So the way I look at it is our midheaven is in the 9th house of Pisces.
What does midheaven mean?
It's our destiny piece.
Okay.
So our destiny is in the spiritual house, which the 9th house is the guru, the teacher. It's kind of like the what am I here to teach?
Yeah.
Or what kind of teachers do I like?
Yeah.
And it's in the sign of Pisces, which Pisces is the emotional healer. So it's a very spiritual house. And so for our midheaven to be there, it's like, okay, either these people are going to be really drawn to spiritual healers or they're going to be one.
Huh.
And so that's like the spiritual piece. And that's probably why
Interesting.
we get drawn, or this quote unquote spiritual word is so natural to us.
Totally.
And then the fucked part, which I think is my connotation on it, is we have 10th house Aries, which is Saturn, and our moon is in there. And so the 10th house is the house of self-worth and public image. And having Saturn there, Saturn is the daddy of the zodiac. He's the one who's giving us the hard lessons, like if you've heard of Saturn return.
Yeah, that's what we're in right now.
So that's the fucked part, because Saturn is going to hand us the hard lessons, and it being in the house of self-worth and public image with our moon attached, and our moon is our emotions. So we are very, well, it's all a suggestion. Astrology is a suggestion.
Right,
And
that's
so
the best way to look at it.
It suggests that our emotions are very much tied to who we are in the public image. And that's who I've been this entire year, and the glass has shattered in that. You know, because for me, I've been a theatrical girl my whole life.
Yeah.
I was in theater, I was making videos on YouTube, like I was just a weird fucking kid. I grew up watching SNL, like I'm an improv kid. And so I've had that with me throughout my whole life. And then with the social media aspect nowadays, it's like everyone's got fucking TikTok and Instagram. Everyone wants to be quote unquote famous and an influencer. And this year, it's made me question who I am. Like, why am I doing this?
Totally.
Why am I making the silly videos on the internet? Am I doing it from a pure place, or am I doing it from, I want to be seen and I want to be famous? And the glass just shattered. And it's when I published my poetry book too, and like publishing this vulnerable, intimate piece of yourself into the public, of course my emotions are attached to that. And having expectations on that was my downfall.
Yeah.
Because it's like giving your piece of your heart out.
Oh my God.
And then having expectations on that.
Yeah.
And this reflects in relationships too.
Totally.
And so the glass was just shattering, and that's why I got back into an astrology and became an astrologer, because I'm like, I need to figure out what these fuck the planets are doing.
Yeah.
So I can blame the planets and figure that out.
So let me get this straight. So we have our midheaven is in Pisces, so that's the spiritual component. And I can say for my own life, that's been with me forever. I've always been like, what's up with this place? For some reason, even when I was young, like the conditioned paradigm narratives, I was like, this can't be it. This is shot. If this is it, like I've seen enough. So there's always this part of me that was like looking for more. Like, where's it at? Where's the depth? Where's the meaning? Where's the connection to something beyond myself? So there's that spiritual component. And then I think how I'm interpreting the fucked part is our emotions are tied to how people perceive us.
Yes.
And thus, for me, the whole genius with spiritual fuckboy, and I know it's fucking genius, is it shatters that. Because I riff on deep shit. It's who I am. And then, but it's like, it can be taken so seriously. And it's like, what happens if we break the vessel? Break it wide open. Where it's like, I don't give a fuck how people see me. I know I'm not a fuckboy in the normal way that people perceive that image. I know who I am. I'm not afraid of that. But it's more just like, it's funny. It's also different. You know what I mean? It kind of breaks those expectations about what spirituality is. You know what I mean? About what it looks like, about how it presents. Because I think a big thing that I want to shift in the collective, especially New Age spirituality paradigm, is the image of what spirituality looks like. Is it some very equanimous dude with dreads who speaks very little, but when he does, it's very wise, and he moves very slowly, and he doesn't fuck with money? Is that spirituality? You know, like being conscious, what is our image of what spirituality looks like? And might that image be a little tight? And do we have to hold to only one image of the spiritual path of spiritual expression? And for me, I would say, no, we don't. And actually, those images can become cages when we say, oh, spiritual people look like monks. Spiritual people have dope tattoos and piercings. And I'm not just saying that about me, but I mean, sort of. They kind of look like pirates. You know what I mean? Those are spiritual people. It's like, that's kind of what I want to break with spiritual fuck boy. So I'm curious, with your podcast being spiritually fucked, so why did you name it that, and what is the podcast about?
It's so funny because I feel like intuition comes and then it doesn't make sense at first.
Yeah.
And so I actually had this name in 2022. I'm like, I need to start a podcast that is called Spiritually Fucked. And then I had someone be like, are you sure? That's like really aggressive and in your face. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And this is when I was putting my quote unquote truth, my image in other people's hands. And I was like, you know what? You're right. It is too much. And I just let it go. And I've always wanted to start a podcast. We have 12th house Gemini. We are literally meant to never shut the fuck up. And
damn,
we do talk.
You know.
And our Mercury is on top of our sun, like directly in the 11th house. So we really are meant to talk and speak. And that's when astrology really confirmed that this is the path I'm meant to do. Damn. But I've had a lot of wounding, quote unquote wounding. I now just call them experiences in the past that have told me not. But we have those experiences to build strength. And this year was like the spiritual gym, okay?
Can I just say, before you keep going, we are like identical. Everything that you're saying. Literally, my homies were like, you can't name it Spiritual Fuckboy. Because I was making like YouTube videos before I found the studio. And they were like, dude, you can't call it Spiritual Fuckboy. And I was like, bro, it's genius. And they're like, nah. And I was like, all right, fine. So I named it something else. And then I came back to the name. And the wounding. I'm like, wait, okay, so this astrology shit might be valid as fuck. I kind of always knew that, but it's cool to get that affirmation from you. So please continue.
Well, it's interesting because it's like, I always say our astrological chart is like our soul expression, and we're just wearing different costumes. And so I'm like, oh my God, are you a delusional like poet like me? Like I'm thinking about all these things, who I am, and seeing if it reflects in a human form. But
what's so trippy is the fact that you say delusional poet, that like image and archetype hits.
Dude,
it
literally.
Hits. That's my life.
Okay, our Venus is in the 12th house, which is the most delusional house.
Let's go. Crazy.
And I'm like, wait, okay, we'll there's a lot to talk about.
This is sick.
So go back to me thinking, okay, Spiritually Fucked is too big of a name. So this year comes and I'm in my Saturn return, and I'm like, I want to do the things that I've been too afraid to do. And I actually was casted on a reality show.
Oh, wait, bro, you're blowing my mind. People keep hitting me up to be on a reality.
Are you kidding?
What reality show was it?
Vanderpump Villa.
I don't know any of them. I'm just curious.
Okay, well, it would have been, they really missed out because I would have been great on it because
You would have been great.
I would have been a house cleaner, which that's literally what I do. I'm a woman. I'm great at cleaning. Like, I would have killed it. But I got uncasted because of my background check.
What was your background check?
Oh, I was talking about, like, anti-vax, like, talking about ayahuasca. Like, they didn't want that girl on it.
Too woke.
And so that's the thing is, like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is the best blessing. But I thought, again, our chart were meant to be publicly seen. Yeah. I thought this was my in.
Yeah.
And so I'm really proud of myself. I wasn't attached too much to that outcome. I was like, if it happens, it happens. And it was happening, and then it didn't happen. And I was like, wait, this is funny as fuck. I'm like, I'm going to do my podcast now and call it Spiritually Fucked. And I just feel like this year with all the performative spiritual people, like performative spiritualism has been the word of like why I'm doing what I'm doing because that's out there. And it's great because when you see a stunning influencer fucking blowing sage and doing breath work, it kind of makes you want to do it. Yeah. So it draws people in. But the spaces they're holding are so toxic. Yes. Because it's so dogmatic and so one way or the other. And it's breaking the image of that and being like, okay, what is spirituality? Does anyone know? Can anyone even really say what it is? What even is truth? Is there a truth, period? Or is it our own individual little lenses? Like, I don't know.
Or could it be both and maybe neither? And maybe just what you make it.
It's everything and nothing.
Yeah. Could truth be what we make it? So the whole notion of these spiritual influencers, they do the sage, they say the right things, they talk about gratitude. You're like, oh, that looks right. That looks like, my image of what spirituality looks like. Let me follow that. But then there's something about the inauthenticity, the performative nature, and the masks. Which, in my mind, why are we trying to wear masks? And when I say we, I mean the ego. The self that thinks it needs to perform in order to be accepted by a certain community, aka textbook ego shit. And what is the ego but a mentally constructed image of who we are? Instead of taking all of those masks off and letting, in my mind, what we can call, literally, God shine through all of us, because we are an extension of that. We are made of stardust. We are the mountains and the rivers. There's no separation in everything that we are. We don't need masks. We don't need to prove that we're spiritual. Everything in existence is, quote-unquote, spiritual. Because in my mind, how could it not? How could it not be? It's coming from the source of creation. So what you're pointing to is fucking genius. I want to say thank you for the work that you're doing. And because I also know the value because I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's breaking these limiting, tight molds of what spirituality looks like and coming back to ourselves. And it reminds me of this Zen allegory sort of. Well, it's more of an image. It's the Enzo in Zen. So the Enzo is that just the circle that you see kind of representing the spiritual path in that tradition. So the first part of walking that path, which is, again, a circle, is investing effort. So I'm trying to meditate. I'm trying to have different thought patterns. I'm trying to be more spiritual, more aligned. And then you get to the summit of that path, and you realize in order to make progress, now I have to actually try less. And that trying less eventually brings you back to who you've always been. I still bump dirty fucking rap music. I love it. I always have. But when I was on that spiritual quest, I stopped listening to rap. And then that's like the big, really just kind of going through the finish line for me. It was like, wait, I can recognize that Young Dolph and Lil Baby are still expressions of God. Really? And when I see it like that, there's like a reverence in the dirty rap music. So it's that's been my sort of quest through this weird spiritual labyrinth. And I think that the work that you're doing is necessary because it provides people with more openness. So I'm curious, what inspired you specifically to start poking fun at cringy spirituality?
Well, it started through a silly nature, which was making fun of, not making fun. I'm making fun of myself. Let me make that clear.
Boom.
I drink cacao. Okay, I drink
fuck with
cacao.
cacao.
I fuck with cacao all the time. I made a reel of me making fun of people who fuck with cacao. I'm making fun of
Totally.
myself because
Totally.
for me, the most spiritual thing you can do is just to be a human.
Yeah.
My greatest form of therapy, I think, is watching The Office. If I can sit down and just watch something that puts me in my heart, because that's how we heal, is through heart coherence, through raising the vibration of ourselves. And if we all are, quote unquote, one, we're all these tuning forks. I like to look at it because
I like that.
there's the video of the two tuning forks, and one's vibrating, and the one that's at the same frequency starts vibrating, and they're not touching.
Right.
We are all made of the same blood, skin, and cells. So if I come in and I'm fucking vibrating at a high as fuck frequency, you're the other tuning fork. You're gonna vibrate high. So if I'm constantly in that state of love, that state of ecstasy, other people are gonna reflect that.
Totally.
Doesn't matter how I get there.
Yeah.
If I get there by watching The Office, or if I get there by doing breath work, they're both spiritual because they're both raising my frequency. And that's how I believe we're, quote unquote, going to heal the collective.
Totally. So raising the frequencies to something more authentic, to being who we are, and recognizing what is that? When I say what we are, what are we looking at? Is it just human beings? Are we sure that's what we are? Because isn't that just a label that maybe we've been conditioned to believe in, and then that we unconsciously solidify, and then that becomes our lived experience? We're all just human beings here, and all of a sudden that's what's real. But in a very deep way, what are we before that word? What are we before we labeled us human beings? It's hard to pin it. It's hard to pin it. And there's something so sacred in that, and the recognition of what we are and the desires that we have. Like you said, watching The Office. For me, bumping heavy rap music and doing heavy ass lifts, I fuck with it. And it's who I am. If someone has an issue with it, I don't know what to tell you. And it's because I can come back to myself. And yes, it's still been the human in some sense, for sure, sometimes. But I also just see that as it's a label that then becomes our lived experience. So we can try on different labels or no labels, which is interesting. Who is speaking right now? Who is watching The Office? Who's playing the characters in The Office? God, 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 everywhere. Inescapable. And the light becomes blinding. And that's a product of actually authenticity. Because when I'm trying to put on a mask or perform, I'm actually subtly denying the God in me already. I'm saying, oh, God, you're not enough. Let me try to put on this fancy mask that I think actually works better. It's disrespectful to creation. It's disrespectful to what you are. It's disrespectful to everything here, in my opinion. And people have been saying this for a while on this podcast, which is authenticity is the highest frequency because it's God. Duh. You know what I mean? It's almost so simple, it's hard to see. It's so ubiquitous and all pervasive that we don't notice it. But we're all God all the time, 24/7. When you're dead, you're God. When you're alive, you're God. It doesn't stop. Anything that could be, where is it coming from? And that's where the desires in our heart, whose are they? And there's a beautiful perspective I have influenced by depth psychology, which we could say it's angels themselves trying to live through us. Jung said our individuation, which is the goal of depth psychology, is actually the individuation of the angels. Because recognize, who are you? Who are you right now? Is it just this mind and body? Is that what I am? Or what's breathing through me? What is living through me? What's speaking through my voice, seeing through my eyes? What is that thing? And there's something, again, this is what I try to teach people, is it's bringing you back to yourself and who you've always been. And with me, the name Spiritual Fuckboy, there's so many different angles on that title, and people either love it or hate it. And, it is what it is.
Their own triggers.
It is, though, which is so interesting. And but, so Spiritual Fuckboy, it's funny you say it's their own triggers, because my homie was just on here actually, and he was talking about that fuckboy archetype, especially if you're in the spiritual community. You don't like it, you push it away, and actually you fragment your being. Because I would say most men have or have had this fuckboy archetype somewhere in their psyche, And the more you push it away, the more you repress it, the more it turns into an obsession.
And it creates the separation.
You fragment your being.
And that's the fucked part, is everyone saying my spirituality is right and yours is wrong. You are creating the separation. And this is, listen, people, I could go off on this. Everyone's talking about like religion these days, okay? And they're saying what yours is demonized. I'm going to demonize you, but mine is right. And what is that doing? It's creating the separation. You are literally putting politics on something quote unquote sacred, but because we have this I'm right and you're wrong
dogma,
it's creating the separation. And how that's not how we lift the frequency. And when you mentioned the mask, I thought of myself because I had cystic acne for literally like 10 years, like cystic. It was so bad. And that was my physical manifestation of the mask I was wearing.
Whoa.
And it came from not wanting to be abandoned. And I was abandoning myself by acting like someone else so other people wouldn't abandon me. But at the end of the day, because we are all just a mirror, I'm abandoning myself, so people are going to abandon me regardless. So if I'm acting like someone else, if I'm acting fake, if I'm being inauthentic, people are still going to leave me because I'm abandoning myself. And this has been this whole year. I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm learning all this because I fuck with Carl Jung too. We love him. It's because I'm going back to alchemy. We are like, life is an alchemical process. We don't need to, well, listen, it's good to read a book. Okay. You can read a book. You can listen to a podcast. I hope you listen to podcasts, but you don't need it. You just need to return to yourself and let the natural process of life shift instead of always trying to like, oh, I got a reflection today. How can I nail this on the head and figure it out? Because I realize, and my friend mentioned this, she's like, my therapist told me that I am trying to heal it instead of feel it. And I'm like, oh, what if instead of trying to heal the trigger right away, like, oh, why am I triggered? Is it because I have an abandonment issue that my dad left and blah, blah, blah? Or what if I just felt what it feels like right now and let that natural alchemical process shift through? Because it's like the circle thing. It's just returning back to nature, which we are. Our bodies are the earth. We are the elements. It's returning back to ourselves and stripping the layers that we even need healing.
You are fucking killing it right now. I love this. It's like looking in the mirror. I'm like, yeah, get it, go. Sick. Thank you for saying all that. And that's so trippy to me. Again, you abandon yourself in all those ways where you're looking for somebody to save you. And then you get the acne, you get this mask, you get the abandonment. That's so fucking trippy. And then again, like you're saying, coming back to ourselves and recognizing, again, what that is in a non-conceptual way. It just feels right. Just be with ourselves. And so much of this path is so simple. It's come back to your experience.
So simple.
It's like, it's so simple that people don't get it. It's like, it's who you've always been. It's what's already always been coming through you. If it's grief, if it's pain, if it's lack, if it's fear, it's all okay. It's another face of God. And I don't mean that in a conceptual way. Feel into it. Where is it coming from? Who is feeling it? And it's a part of the beauty of this place. I think in the West, so much fuck shit has gone down due to the pathologization. Is that the fucking word? Pathologizing pain. Pathologizing pain means we make it something wrong. Pain is wrong. Suffering is wrong. Here, you need a prescription? We can write you that. You need Xanax? What you need? Perkies? Like, we got all that for you. The pathologization, I think that's the fucking word, of pain.
We're going to roll with it.
It puts like a kink in the hose of life, of creation. Recognizing there's actually a value and a necessity in pain. And the more that we resist pain, the more it haunts us. So there's an equation I always reference that is our experience of suffering, subjective suffering, is equivalent to the pain we feel multiplied by how much we choose to resist that pain. So the more that we push away pain, aka resist it, the more we're actually subtly amplifying our experience of suffering. Where if I can hold my own grief, my own rejection, my own feeling of abandonment, hold it close like a little baby, and hold it with care. Don't push it away. That is the process of healing, where those difficult experiences, in my mind, can give you the message that they're trying to give you. Because you can look at emotions as messengers. What is this trying to tell me? It's Hermes saying something to you. And like, can we honor that god of grief? And I love the take that grief is how we honor that which we loved when it leaves. And in a world of ever-flowing impermanence, everything will leave us. It's okay. It's just a recognition. It's how things work here. And the question is, how deeply are you willing to love? Knowing that things are going to leave you. And knowing that the grief is a part of it. And for me, when I've gone through, like, absolutely torturous breakups, like, yeah, I'm, like, handicapped with grief, basically. Like, I can barely speak with people. I'm just shook for a while. And coming out of those breakups, you start to, like, love that. At least me, I start to love that feeling of heartbreak, where I'll throw on some sad music and, like, drive through the mountains and kind of cry, and it feels fucking amazing.
Because you're human and you're meant to feel.
Yeah.
Dude,
True.
I get through this. I go through, like, yearnings. I'm like, wait, this book I wrote was through that pain. And look at the gift and look at the beauty, and that's where art comes from.
Yes.
And it's transmuting. Art is an alchemical process. And to shame me for making a silly video about joking about, like, my dad, and people were constantly shaming, saying, you're projecting. And I'm like, but am I? Or am I taking this pain and transmuting it? I'm like, you don't know the relationship I had with my dad. He was the best.
Wow.
But because it's perceived through everyone's own eyes and how they're attached to their own father's relationship, they're putting those projections on me. And so I stopped doing comedy for a little bit.
What? You're naturally a comic.
Thank you. But because I was putting my craft in other people's hands.
Oh.
And again, it was like returning back to my chart, my astrological chart. And I want to mention this because you said everything is so simple. You can't monetize simple. No, and that's why everyone's selling their fucking course, their heartbreak course. That's the spiritual fucked part. They're putting it in containers and saying, you need this to heal.
Yeah.
Do you? And listen, people, I am a mentor. I do sell things. But you just have to, and this is where the thing that I am struggling with is I want to come from an authentic place. And I don't want to be like the other people trying to monetize it. Like, oh, you need this. I'm like, you don't need my healing, okay? If you feel called, if you feel drawn to me, like, you can pay me. Like, you can cut me a check. Yeah. And I was putting so much pressure on my passions. Like, I'm a very passionate person. Like, I want to help people, period. That's why I came here. Or so I believe. But I was putting so much pressure on that to take care of me and to, like, build security in my life. And so there's this really wish-washy place for people who do want to help people but don't want to work a 9-to-5 job. Yeah. And it's like, well, how are they doing it? How are they making 7 figures? By being fucking throwing sage around and blowing smoke up everyone's asses. I'm like, how are they doing it? And so that's, like, the really hard part that I'm personally struggling with right now in my life, where I want to take care of myself, like, but I haven't been able to sustainabilize my craft, my art.
Yeah. I hear you. And I mean, I do the same thing. I mean, I don't actively sell stuff. So I'm a therapist. So I guess I sell therapy dealer out here. I also sell, like, one-on-one coaching things. But it's so interesting. Like, I fuck with James Hillman a lot. Do you know who James Hillman is? So he's a depth psychologist, died like a decade ago. But he really asked this question, what is the point of psychotherapy? Like, genuinely, what are we doing here? Because are we trying to have people escape the pain, escape the suffering? Is that the point? Because from a depth psychology angle, we need suffering. The soul will get it some way or another. It will take us there, inevitably. So what's the goal of psychotherapy? And for me, it's like support. You're helping people. And I think also it's so interesting because you're like a mirror. I don't want to sell snake oil. I've seen that shit all over the place.
You don't want to be an Etsy witch?
Dude. I mean, Etsy witches make some sick candles. But like, if I'm selling something and I'm charging people for it, it better be good. It better be a banger. And I'm in the process of creating that banger, and it feels so good because it's Yeah, it's stuff that blows my mind. Even as I'm reviewing it to present it and teach it. I've realized that's how I'm learning this stuff more deeply. And this is the profundity of emptiness in the Buddhist path, which is the crux that opens you up to nirvana. When that sinks, but the emptiness of mind, emptiness of self, real emptiness of self, emptiness of world, what's left? Again, nothing. And we notice that we're filling the world with things. We're flavoring it with relationships. We're flavoring it with interpretations, with solidified experiences of self, aka what I am. If I say I'm Ben the human or an angel or none of the above, those are stories. Those are all stories. They all have different impacts. And we get caught in solidifying one of these stories. Oh, I'm Ben the human because everyone else seems to be humans around here, so I guess that just checks out. It's like, are you sure? Are you sure that's what you are? And how do you know? What's the ontological, epistemological status of that belief? So ontology is a study of being, what's real, what's going on right now. Then epistemology is a study of knowledge. How do we know? How do we trust certain data? Where in this modern age, it would be science. Science is clearly what's true, what's real, or what's replicatable. Thus, that's what we believe in. That's only one way of knowing. And so it's what I'm bringing blows my fucking mind. And it's like just creating this framework. I'm like, holy shit, it's like that. And seeing all these spiritual teachers, Sadhguru, Muji, dudes I follow, Robert Bea, Andrew Holacek, who, shout out, Andrew Holacek, you're going to be on this podcast someday. Just seeing them all point to the same thing. And again, the profundity of that, which is like, okay, it's cool to play with these ideas. What happens when it sinks? If everything was empty of inherent existence, aka it depends on my mind to construct it and to believe in it, then what are the implications of something like, let's say, death? The question of who dies. What story of me is dying? The question of, like, is death an ultimate annihilation of the self, as we're usually unconsciously conditioned to believe? Or do we hold on to dogmatic religious perspectives of what happens after we die? And hold on very tightly. That's like a mark of dogma, is you have to hold on tightly to it because it's objectively right according to that view. So what happens when it's all fluid and empty? And it's really an open question for me. What do we fill the void with in regards with death? Because it's a void. It's a story. It's empty in our minds. Do I say this is ultimately an ending? What if death is way better? Like Ram Dass says, taking off an old shoe. Sounds nice. Sounds like a relief. What do you know what I'm saying? What is the impact of that on our consciousness? And what caused me to go to this depth is seeing all of the spiritual shit on Instagram in places like Vietnam and India when I was traveling there, and I was like, I thought this was gonna be legit. All I'm seeing is bullshit. And I was like, okay, where is it? I won't stop until I find something fucking real. Where is it? And I was so depressed at that point in my life. And I want to get to your story because you were talking about your dark night of the soul, which is very interesting. But my dark night of the soul, I was hella depressed. And I couldn't find anything fucking real. It was all smoke and mirrors and bullshit. And I was like, bro, I need something that hits me in the soul, that resonates with my heart, that gives me a notion of real truth. And it was only when I found emptiness, which is so counterintuitive and paradoxical. It's like the only ground I found that I could stand on is utter groundlessness. The only truth that I could feel in my bones to be true is that there is no ultimate truth in the relative experience of duality. And that's what changed me. It's so paradoxical because it seems like everyone wants to heal, everyone wants to be spiritual, but no one wants to accept the ultimate emptiness of all of perception, meaning I am made up, the world is made up, and it's okay. It doesn't have to be real. Why does it have to be real? And so that was my spiritual path, and it took me to this profound place, which I feel legitimately blessed by that darkness at this point. And it made me who I am. And now I'm trying to give it back in a way that, again, so this is like kind of vulnerable. I think I've said it in another podcast, but it's like my goal is like a complete flip of the paradigm that humanity is operating within. Because that paradigm is culturally, mentally constructed. And can we just recognize that? And what's the impact of recognizing that? What's real? Can we start to touch into the void? Because the void is not empty in some cold nihilistic sense. The void is full of infinite possibility, undefined. We can make it anything. And the world that we're experiencing now and all the problems with human greed, wealth inequality, violent conflict, genocide, those are actually products of internal views, internal assumptions.
Internal demons reflected into
yeah.
the external world.
Exactly. Those demons of I'm not enough. Those demons of, oh, what happens when we die? Look away, look away, look away. All of those demons that haunt us, again, it projects outwards. Where when I don't feel like I'm enough, when I'm falling for the spell of the ego, aka the separate self, let's just say whenever I believe that what I am is this ego, again, separate, inherently existing self, separate from the world, separate from my mind, I'm going to feel insecure. I'm going to feel wobbly. Is this really who I am? Am I good enough? I just don't know. That's an inherent quality of the ego always. And you will never escape it. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much you do, you can't get away from that insecurity. And again, that insecurity also drives people to say, fuck everybody else. I'm just going to try to make billions. And it's like, then everyone else is getting fucked. Everyone else who is actually just other faces of you, other consciousness beings manifested. Now we're fucking them. You're fucking yourself because you're stuck in this spell, this illusion of the separate self where you are haunted by this knowing that you're never enough. And all of a sudden, everyone else is fucked. So this is an internal cognitive belief that then manifests externally. So it doesn't only affect our world, it affects those people where they're living in like a hell realm because of a certain empty belief system that no one seems to recognize as a belief system. We think it's just how things are. And so my goal is huge. I'm like, what happens if a collective starts to recognize this, practice this, construct a different reality? So, yeah, anyways, that's my goal, I guess.
I want to add to that.
Please.
The spiritual fucked part is everyone wants to kill the ego. Why would you want to kill the ego? That's why we come here. It's befriending the ego in my eyes, because when you're killing something, it's the law of, what is it? Law of polarity, law of balance. You're creating the separation that you are not that.
Wow.
What if we just loved our ego? I fucking love my ego. And I've been going through this. This is 12th house, Gemini. I don't know if you experienced this. And I was laying in bed one morning and I was looking at my costume box. And I said, oh, I'm only this girl. I'm only Taylor Mulholland in this life. I already started grieving my human self because, and not from an attachment place, but from a romanticized place. Like, why am I dimming my expression in this life? And that's why I started posting more. I don't give a fuck what people think anymore because I realized I'm only this girl. I only look like this one time in my entire fucking existence. Why would I be too shy to post an Instagram? And I'm saying this for everyone. Yeah. If you are scared, you just gotta fucking do it anyways because you're only gonna be this person this one time. And to be too self-conscious or to put on another mask, that is such a shame to your soul expression in this life because I believe we chose every part of us. I believe we chose down to our left pinky toe. And if you don't fucking like it, then you figure out why you don't like it and you take that and you run because it's creating... It's the process of alchemy again, coming back to why is this part of my body or this part of my personality causing me pain? Why don't I like this? Like sitting with that instead of trying to heal it, trying to do another course, and that's what I was doing all this year is just fucking doing all these courses. And then I realized once I stopped needing a fix, I didn't need any fixing. I just needed to come back and realize that I'm perfect just the way I am and falling unconditionally in love with that, and the parts that I don't unconditionally love, because it's not an overnight fix. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but asking why. Why did I choose this?
Dog. You're, again, killing it. This is exactly what I found in my experience in India, where I was hella fucking depressed. Legitimately hated myself. I couldn't look people in the eyes because I was so self-conscious. I could not speak. I was so dissociated. People would speak to me, and I remember I would snap out and be like, what did you say? Like people right in front of me. So I was in so much suffering. And it was only when I could accept, Yeah, if you're depressed forever, Ben, if you're depressed for the rest of your life and you can't have any deep social relationships, you just have to work at a gas station the rest of your life. Fuck it. Like, it wasn't even conceptual. It was just like, I can't keep fighting this. Fuck, I guess this is it. And it was when I thought I was going to step into the abyss, that's when I actually stepped into freedom. When I thought I was surrendering into death, which you could say that I was, the death of the old me. And the resistance of that, again, what you resist persists. That depression, that anxiety, whatever it is, notice there is always resistance. Those experiences cannot manifest and linger without resistance. So once I actually stepped off that cliff and I was like, fuck it, guess I'm handicapped forever. That's when things started to shift. I remember I cried for the first time in months because I was so numb. And I cried and I remember looking at the light in the trees, and it was like the first time I actually saw it. Because I wasn't in my mind trying to run away from my own experience. I was finally like, yeah, this fucking hurts. Yeah, I'm not the person I wish that I was. Yeah, I wish that I could be seen. I wish that I had more certainty in my life. I wish I had some fucking money. This is right after undergrad, and I was hella broke. I'm still hella broke, let's be honest. But literally, it was the acceptance of the unacceptable that healed my shit. And how many of these courses, how much of psychotherapy as a system is actually pointing us in the wrong direction, saying there's something wrong with you, let me fix you. And this is so deep for me because it's my truth. And you see it, I won't say evil, maybe confusion that is established at, again, systemic levels, where some psychotherapists are very helpful if they can bring the client back to themselves. If they're trying to sell something, if they're trying to fix them in some weird kind of way, or in any way that brings them away from themselves, it's not going to work. Because again, creation wants to feel. And until we learn how to feel, those demons, that pain, that darkness is going to keep haunting us because it still has something to tell us. And I was listening to something. Do you know who Joanna Macy is? Mm-mm. Joanna Macy is like a speaker, lifelong Buddhist practitioner, and just a beautiful, beautiful soul. She died relatively recently, I think. But she was talking about these times that we're living in. These, you could say, apocalyptic times. They're almost prophetic. Like all that shit in the prophecies, it seems to be coming true. Is Christ going to get resurrected? Time will tell. But, okay, we have AI. What's that going to do in the next 20 years? We have the great omnipresent threat of nuclear wastelands. We have... who knows, China, Russia invading. We have maybe ETs. That's like a wild card, left field kind of situation. But there's so much uncertainty, so much risk, so much fear. And she was talking about in this age, we need to learn the necessary skill of looking at that fear, looking at that pain. She was talking about being a grandmother and being honest about the world with her grandkids. And she's like crying giving this speech because she's like, it's breaking my heart. And if we don't allow our hearts to break, damn, this is so deep. If we don't allow our hearts to break, shit's going to keep getting worse. And I keep seeing it. And I'm like, maybe the bombs actually have to fall for people's hearts actually to break. Because we have social media, we have video games, we have porn, alcohol, drugs, anything to take you away from the pain in your heart. And actually, it's that pain that needs to break your heart open to the beauty of creation, because pain and beauty come together. And the more we reject that, the more this place is going to get more and more hellish. And it's so beautiful to me. And that's again the product of my dark night of the soul, of being completely broken, wide fucking open. Now I can't close this heart in a lasting, permanent kind of way. And I feel so blessed for that. And I want to bring that to you. Obviously, you can riff on that. I'm sure you can riff on that for a minute. But I am curious about your dark night of the soul, because you spoke a little bit about it, and I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I feel our dark nights of the soul, or things that are really going to change us, show up in the sections of our life that we prioritize the most. So for you, it sounds like you prioritize your mind the most. So it happened in your mind.
Yeah.
For me, it happened in my body, because I chose to prioritize my body most in my life, because I don't know, I'm here to be a human. That's the point. So it happened throughout my whole entire life, but it really started to catch my attention, because that's what these things that happen to us do. they catch our attention when we're drifting off and we're doing too much social media or we're doing too much external things. When we're too lost, which if you feel lost right now, it's just coming back to yourself.
Right.
It's like a merry-go-round. Like you just got to go to the center instead of spinning outward, trying to grab. Like that's okay. This year has just been me on a carousel, going all the way around, and I'm trying to grab everything outside of myself to bring me back home. But I just need to go into the center to stop spinning. My mind works in metaphors.
Bars. So does mine. That's sick. I love that image.
Okay, so anyways, back to me being in menopause at 22. So I went through a very physical dark night of the soul, and I was 22 years old. I didn't have a period for 8 years, which I could. Okay, here's another thing: is I could blame a lot of fucking things outside of myself. I could blame the vaccine I got when I was 12. I could blame the food I ate growing up, but really I am taking radical responsibility for I manifested this in my body, and it was rooted in trauma and holding on to that trauma, because when you hold on to shit, it just manifests in your body. And for me at 22 was the breaking point. Literally, my foot broke, my left foot. And if you're into metaphysical injuries, it was my last two pinky toe and the ring finger toe, they broke. And it was on my left side. So if you look at your body in a masculine, feminine, it was like my water toe on my feminine side. My foot broke, and that was the glass shattering of my feminine awakening, because my ovaries were dead inside of me. The doctors told me that for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to be on drugs at 22.
So you got your period for a period of time? And then it stopped when you were 14. Yeah,
so when I got it for, I don't know, like a year, and then I was like, I want to be on birth control because everyone's on birth control in high school. And so I went on that for like a month. Or no, it was like 8 months. Okay, so I went on birth control, and then I stopped birth control because obviously, like, it's not great.
It's not great.
It's not great. This is not the podcast for that, but I stopped it, and then I never got a period again. And so I'm going to doctors. I'm like, where's my period? And the doctors are like, here's birth control. You'll get your period back. And then obviously I'm like, I'm not going to do that. But at 22, I break my foot, and that was my dark night, I guess you could say.
So what did the doctors say to you this whole time?
They just said, oh, it will come. You could do progesterone.
For
you could
8
do
years?
Yes, like this is the Western medicine. I walk in and they have money signs on their eyes. Like, how can we get this girl on as much drugs as she can? So my foot broke, and my bones were not healing. After I was in a stint for 6 weeks, and they're like, your bones, for 6 weeks, they were like, your bones are supposed to be 75% healed. By now, they're 25%. I'm 22. I'm like supposed to be in my prime. I go, something's not right here. And so I went on the hormones, and a year later goes by. There's that movie or that book called like Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. That was me. I looked disgusting. And everyone's going to say, oh, Taylor, you're beautiful no matter what. Well, bitch, I didn't feel beautiful. Yeah. I felt like ass, okay? Yeah. I felt horrible. And I looked horrible, and, everything's a reflection of how we're feeling internally, externally. And externally, it did not look great. I have pictures. You can look at those later. But they're not great. The afters are great. So I went the Western medicine route, and it fixed me. I needed it. And this is why if I meet someone and they're on that route, I go, good for you. If it's working,
so it did fix you?
It fixed me temporarily.
What did it fix? It fixed your broken bones?
It healed my bones faster than I could have. My bones are not healing. I could take as much marshmallow root in the world, and they're not going to heal. Like, I needed estrogen. Okay, I'll just spill what I was on. I was on estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, spironolactone for my acne, which was a physical mask that I was wearing, and 2 thyroid medications. So
the hormones were all...
yeah, and I did not look great. And there came a point where I was like, I need to stop this. And so my goal was to go sit with ayahuasca. And that was a calling. It wasn't because everyone around me was doing it. No one around me was doing it. It was a calling. I felt I needed to go there. But you can't sit when you're on all those things. So I just set the intention out there. I'm going to do this.
How old were you?
22. And so weird, because later, like that year, I met someone who was in yoga teacher training, who was in yoga teacher training to go teach at ayahuasca retreats. She became my best friend. Anyways, a year goes by and I go and I sit. So it's like I had that calling, I set the intention, and then it came to me with, I didn't have to think. It fell into my lap. And that's how you know when things are meant for you, is when they fall into your lap. And so within this time, I met my spirit doctor, who I still work with to this day. And he has taught me so much about returning back to the body and healing through natural medicine. And so through him, I weaned off. I said, bye-bye, Western doctors, never seeing you again. And I weaned off myself, which they'll probably tell you not to do or you're going to die. But I did it myself. And then I did, you know, herbalism, like Chinese medicine, fucking moxa, like acupuncture. Like I did everything. If I've tried every single healing modality until something resonated with my body. And I call him a spirit doctor because that's what he is. It was spirit doctoring. And so I still work with him to this day, but it just brought me back to my body's own natural rhythm. And okay, I was 22 and whatever, my ovaries were quote unquote dead. I fully revived them. I feel like...
Wait, really?
Yes.
So you reversed the 22-year-old menopause
I
situation.
reversed everything that the doctors told me I couldn't.
Brent.
And
crazy.
it's like nothing ever happened.
That's
okay?
crazy.
It's
What?
like nothing ever happened.
What?
It's so weird how healing works. By 25, I was having my own cycle back. And I was wet. I was a wet. And you
What do you
couldn't
mean when you say that?
my ovaries were working, my sex drive was up, and
Let's
I was
go.
back in my natural state after 3 years of hell.
Do you think birth control triggered that whole thing?
You could blame a lot of things. I believe that we become matches to things like that.
What do you mean
So,
when you say that?
because you meet people and they've been on birth control for 6 years and they go off it and they're completely fine. And it's because they were not a match to that. I was a perfect match for birth control to fuck me up because I had a lot of wounding, quote unquote wounding, past experiences that were related to my womb. Like the feminine archetype in my body was already at a low. So taking something like birth control or getting a vaccine when I was 12, that is for HPV, the ovarian cancer one, I was a match for that to make me, quote unquote, not work.
Damn.
Right? But I know a lot of girls who got that and nothing was wrong with them because they don't probably have any generational wounding.
I'm curious about those wounds. And I want to also say you are one of the most legitimately spiritual people I've met.
Oh, thank you.
And I've met a lot of like spiritual people. Like you're tapped in. You've tried all these things. You found what works. And it's so just breathtaking to see you.
Thank
and
you.
I'm saying that because I want to have more conversations with you. You're also a really trippy mirror of myself, which is so interesting. And that's why I want to touch on those wounds. Because I have deep mommy wounds. Not just mommy wounds, but just wounds with the feminine.
Okay, it's in our fucking chart, dude.
Can you say more to that?
It's so from what I remember, we have, I believe our fourth house is in Scorpio, which our fourth house is so our fourth house is in Scorpio, and that's where Pluto lives, and Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. It is hell.
Sick.
But here's the thing. Pluto is death and rebirth, so it's the rebirth.
Praise.
And the fourth house is the house of the mother.
What?
It is the ancestral. This is why everyone needs a chart read.
Holy shit.
Plug me in, baby.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And when I first got my astrology read from my teacher, love Natalie Holbrook, she said, oh yeah, this is exactly why this showed up, because your fourth house is originally the house of Cancer, which is the feminine of the zodiac, and it also is the ancestral lineage. And so when you see Pluto, or when you see Scorpio fourth house with Pluto there, it's like, of course you're going to have a death and rebirth for, or within the feminine figure in your life. But you're doing it to heal lineages. Like, and okay, it's fucking opposing our fucking sun, our Taurus sun, and our Taurus Mercury. So we're meant to talk about it.
What?
Because they're literally across from each other.
Yo, you're blowing my mind. Can you give me a reading at some point? I'll pay you for
Yes.
it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm like, it's me reading myself.
Oh, that's fucking facts. That's fucking facts. Yeah.
I would love to do that. So I feel this lifetime, like, of course I'm a fucking lineage breaker. Who goes through menopause at 22 if you're not meant to heal lineages? And so going through this process, I have developed a relationship with my ancestors because that is my standing ground. That is what's rooting me here. Like, fuck, this is hard. This is painful. This is hard. But I'm doing it for grandma. I'm doing it for my great-great-grandmother. And they're there and assisting me because they want to help. And I'm doing it for the future generations. And it's like, I am just the body of the lineage in this lifetime. And if I don't want to do the work, and if I want to just sit and dissociate and whatever, that's going on to my children, and I don't want to fucking do that. Like, I am the one who's signing up for this. And so I won't give too many details, but we can talk about it after. But I went through this death and rebirth with the feminine, and it showed up at the time of my life when it was meant for healing. And if I would have rushed that, you can't rush things like that. It's all like a process that's meant to unravel.
And all of those processes, all of those segments of the process are absolutely necessary. Yes. That's the thing. Even the slow ones where you're like, what do I do? Even the confusion, even the darkness, necessary for that fruit to ripen until it drops.
And everyone wants a quick fix. And people are selling quick fixes. But baby, it's not going to happen. Because if I look back now, and this is what my spirit doctor said to me, he said, it's going to take a long time. And I said, let's do it. I saw him every 2 weeks for whatever, and I was taking the little fucking droppers, and things were not shifting. I was still fat and ugly, and things were not an overnight fix. I could have just went on Ozempic and got an overnight fix, but I committed to myself. And I look back and I say, holy fuck, I did it. And that's me right now. And I'm not perfect. I still got a lot of shit to unravel, but I am okay with where I'm at. And this is one thing that I have been learning to do more, is celebrate myself. Because it's so easy to get hard on ourselves. Like, well, why aren't I living in the house I want with my Range Rover and selling my astrology sessions and making a bajillion dollars? And I'm going to take a course that's going to get me there because I'm a human and I want to grasp these human things because these human things are telling me that my soul pull is worthy. And I've come the past month, I think literally the past month, I've just had this whole going back to sleep. It's almost like this awakening, but it's like, what do we need to wake up from? Aren't we just in a dream?
That's a great question.
Isn't this just a dream that we just get to create?
That's interesting. Well, interestingly, the word Buddha actually means the awakened one. So the question is, what did he awake out of? And it's what's interesting is it's the dream of what we call reification. This is how Andrew Holacek presents it, and it checks out to me. So reification is the solidification of abstract conceptual things. So aka everything that we experience, if we actually reduce it to its essence, it's an abstract conceptual thing. And yet we solidify and say, this is just how things are. This is how the world is. This is how I am. Forgetting that we are making it that way. We are co-creating it. So the Buddha woke up from basically having the world given to him. And when I said, I mean, I'm just experiencing the world as it is, and recognizing, we are co-creating this in profound ways. And according to Buddhism, I won't get too deep into it, but even the experience of materiality is actually fabricated with very subtle mechanisms of mind. So that's my goal, is let's wake people out of the dream that, again, life is just handed to them. Because if you pay close attention, we are creating experiences based on our interpretations, what we choose to believe, our relationship to experiences, aka pain and suffering. When I look at pain as if it's something objectively wrong, I am flavoring it with more pain, with more fear, with more aversion and resistance. And if I can view pain from a different lens, which is pain has a place, pain is okay, pain is a face of Hermes, a messenger god. When I can honor it like that, I am flavoring pain with something very different, where what I see, what I experience in my body and externally shifts as a result of shifting the way that I'm choosing to see it. So, I mean, anyways, that's the dream that we can wake up from if we want. And I don't think it's necessary for everybody. because I think creation, it's so beautiful in all of its expressions, and some people want to stay asleep. And who are they? It's God. Let them sleep. I'm just offering this path. If we want to wake up, there is a path. This is the, crux of Buddhism, the Four Noble Truths. There is suffering exists, and there's a cause of it. Well, suffering exists, number one. Number two, there's a cause of our suffering. There's reasons we suffer. Number three is there's a way to end suffering, which is profound. If that actually sinks, wait, there's a way to end suffering. For real? Yes, for real. And then there's a path we can walk to end that suffering. So a very diagnostic. It is sort of like a Western medical model of like, here's your issue, here's how we solve it.
Yeah.
But it's profound, and it's liberation. And when I say liberation, I mean at the existential level of what we think existence is. That's the liberation that we're pointing towards. Not the liberation of self, not the liberation of some spiritual path. It's the recognition that all of these spiritual paths are actually constructed. There's no ultimate end goal. There never was. We make it. And then we walk that path. And we think, oh, there's an ultimate end goal here. Interestingly, in my mind, because the ego craves somewhere to rest. The ego craves that. The soul doesn't give a fuck. The soul's here to check shit out, to fuck shit up. I mean, maybe not necessarily. Everyone's soul is different. And the thing is, can we be honest with what my soul wants? Because it's all spiritual. If some people want to live in, a very materialistic world and just go to Disneyland 3 times with their family and call it a life, beautiful. That's part of the poetry, part of the theater that creation is trying to live through them. For me, when I really examined myself deeply, and I will say basically what I am is a process of deep, rigorous, brutal self-examination. What am I? What's real? What do I do here? Legitimately, all these tough questions to ask, and just really spending a lot of time with that, and really getting introduced with who I am. And who I am, what I've found, is void. You can't find it. You can't find it. It's like, am I this mind, this body? Am I this personality? Where did that personality come from? Oh, my experiences. So am I them? Those experiences? Or am I my parents? Or what made them? Am I their parents? Where does it stop? Who am I? You can't pin it. And at that point, you can let go of trying to be the quote-unquote real you, and you can just let a fucking rip, recognizing no matter who I am, no matter what ego I choose to wear, they're all going to be equally made up. Every single one of them. So you can stop trying to find the real one, and you can just let it rip. And that's fucking freedom. That's freedom of self. And that's why I'm rocking with this spiritual fuckboy thing. Because I think it's fucking hilarious. And the question is, what does freedom look like? When I don't give a fuck. When I'm just letting, again, soul, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, flow through me. How do I act? And what's so, I think, hard to grasp for so many people is that there are no wrong answers. And then you get this sort of paralysis that comes from that paradox of choice. Fuck,
dude, I am the most indecisive person in my entire life.
I'm close. I might rival you with that indecision.
It's bad because it's thinking that there is a wrong decision.
Dude, I know. Dude, for me, it was like after this Playgirl thing, I was like, I'm going to start an OnlyFans. And just talking to some people, I was like, dude, I'll make crazy cake on OnlyFans. And I was like, no, I can't do it. And I was like, I got to do it. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to sign the contract with the management company. And I signed the contract. I send them all the photos. And I'm like, I'm not doing this shit. Fuck no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So I was just back, forth. Because it's like, I can see the pros and cons of all of it. Would it be nice to be making like $15K a month off selling dick pics? Yeah, that'd be sick. But also the energetic exchange of that, where I was like, dude, I'm going to be the guy that gets up and takes dick pics even when I'm like not feeling it. Bro, fuck that. That's not your boy. I don't care that much. Especially like, it's one thing if it's all like a bunch of like chicks. It's mostly dudes.
It is.
Nah, I'm not about it. Like, sorry. So I guess we're just swimming in this, like money's not super tight, but it's like, could I use $15K a month? Yeah, for fucking sure. So I'm at this point of that's just one example of the indecisions in my life.
Yeah, it's like, what's the exchange?
Totally. And it brought me, because I was like, cognitively in my mind, I was like, it kind of fits the spiritual fuckboy brand. Like, it is like, a lot of freedom, but it's like it was like, if I could just like sell dick pics and not have to take them. But I'm like, even that little act of having to take dick pics, like I'll take dick pics and send them to people for free. You know what I mean? But the fact that I'm doing that for money, it just feels gross. And it reminds me of one of the, in the Eightfold Path, aka the way to get to the end of suffering in Buddhism, one of the folds, I guess you would say, is what they call a right livelihood. So actually, if you're, you know, killing people to make money, if you're ripping people off, if you're stealing things to make a living, you're never going to find that wholeness. You're never going to find, nirvana, because that's a necessary component of it, is finding a right livelihood, a way to contribute something valuable. And it's so funny. My homie's like, bro, like, look at what you say. Look at the way you impact people. Why the fuck would you do OnlyFans? And I had to get that reflection from some people I really respect.
Yeah.
To be like, yeah, facts. I was like, what am I doing?
Those are the mirrors reflecting like that true part of you.
Yeah. Yes, my soul. And that's the thing. Like, spiritual fuckboy, it's sort of, you could call it, interestingly, like a mask, but also everything that we've ever worn is a mask.
Character.
Exactly. Just like everybody else. But the thing is with me, it's like, I know it's a character. And I know everyone else is also just a character. And again, there's so much freedom in that. But yeah, no, again, I really am thankful for those mirrors, because it brought me back to this tender part of myself. This part of me that was so lost, that was so, that didn't know what to do, didn't have good role models in some ways, just lost. That really tender part of me of like, I just want to be liked. I just want to have enough. I just want to feel okay. Like that tender part of me, which is still there. And that pain, that darkness, that confusion, it opened me up to so much kindness, because I needed it for myself. I would be fucked without it. And that kindness now overflows onto other people, because I was forced to learn, how do I learn to love this being that I kind of hate? Because otherwise it gets really dark and really painful really fast. And so that's like, again, I think the benefit of those dark nights of the soul, that darkness, it opens you up. It opens you up to kindness, where so many of the most like transformatively kind people you meet, and like it makes an impact on you about how gentle, kind, connected they are. Those people, I would make a guess, have experienced across the board some deep pain, some really deep pain that's broken them open, forced them to be kind. Because that's how we learn. It's like innovation is a product of necessity. And I think it's true. And that's true in all of us, forcing ourselves to learn, how do I be kind?
Yeah, and it's you have to sit with that pain for it to transmute and for it to alchemize. And you meet these people that are so bitter and so like, F life, you did me wrong life. And it's because they haven't sat with their pain fully, because they were showed, or they think that they need to shove it aside. It's not welcome. They grew up in an environment where that pain wasn't welcomed, and so they're bitter towards life now because they haven't been able to sit with it. And I have so much sympathy for those people, because I've been there, and I was there until I stopped taking life so seriously. That's another thing about spiritually fucked. The most spiritual thing you could do is just to be a human and to not take life so seriously.
Right.
Life is serious. There are things to take seriously.
But it doesn't have to be serious.
It doesn't have to be.
That's one lens, that's one story we have. And life all of a sudden becomes this really solid thing. And it's like, well, let's break the tension a little bit. Because remember, it's just a dream. It's just a story. Let it flow. Give it some levity. And yeah, I think that's a big part of spiritual fuckboy too, is the humor. And do you know who Brent Pella is?
I love that guy.
Everyone fucks with Brent Pella. He's hilarious.
He's just making fun of himself, from what I look at, and his friends.
Because Brent, again, I don't know him personally, but he seems hella spiritual. I've seen him at Burning Man and shit. I saw him at a set with like Aubrey Marcus and Jake Paul and Brent Pella. He's just in the back with his hood up. So he's like tapped into the spiritual circles. But his comedy just is ruthlessly making fun of spirituality. It's fucking hilarious. So he's like poking fun at himself. And that's kind of what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm poking fun at myself. I'm like, you know, pretty dude with the tats, riffs on dope shit. Seems like classic textbook spiritual fuckboy. Well, great. That's what we're going to call it. You know what I mean? And it's like, it breaks the tension. Yeah. And I heard this podcast. Do you know the Emerald podcast?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you would.
I have a lot of homework after this.
You would love. I'm going to send you the Emerald podcast. So it's really deep. This dude, Josh Shree, so poetic. He just has the most poetic, artistic takes on these deep spiritual topics. But he talks about the need of humor and how some cultures would have like not just like a gesture, but a need to break the ice before very intense rituals. Because otherwise it's like, can I take this seriously? I don't know. Like, it's kind of goofy.
Because it puts pressure.
Like, exactly. It's like in church, like, I mean, I've only been to church a few times, but I hear the metaphor of like someone farts in church and everyone's like, what do we do right now? It's kind of, someone just laugh. It's hilarious. So you have that metaphorical fart in church and it breaks the tension where now you can actually be receptive to the depth, the profundity, and to the reverence that's coming our way. And in those spiritual contexts. And that's what I see. A lot of people that give me feedback about spiritual fuckboys, not the name, are you sure that's the brand you want? And I think a lot of those spiritual folks, the effort with a lot of these masks is the cultivation of what I would generally call reverence, and the cultivation of an experience of divinity, which I think comes through reverence. But for me, that reverence, it feels fake a lot of the time when I'm in these containers, and you can feel it. Again, like, we all have energy. So when it's fake reverence, it's got a different signature than a real reverence. When someone's like praying and it hits you in the soul and you're like, damn. Like, I've given prayers where I'm like, damn, I feel like I'm a channel, literally. And then there are other prayers that I've also given and heard others give where it's like, it's more mental, more heady, more constructed intentionally. And there's a different signature to that. So I think I want to be able to do both, to break the tension with the humor, whatever, with being authentic. And then also we have that need for the cultivation, the active construction of reverence, of divinity, of gods. And this is really deep and I'm sure hits people in a weird way. But from my view, from the emptiness view, gods and the lack thereof are actually constructed. And we need to pray to them for them to be real. If we want them to touch our lives, touch our energy body, bless us, then we need to pray to them. Otherwise, there's nothing there. This is how we're co-creating a world every time. Choosing to pray to Shiva, Shakti, Yahweh, Christ, whatever, it makes them more real, and you can feel that. And then these beings, when you call on them, they are literally more real. And this is because we are the creators. As above, so below. We are simultaneously God in entirety and completely separate from God, where I am not that. They are clearly beyond me. And this is the beauty of emptiness. It's actually both. And in a very deep way, neither. Because it's all going to be fabricated, relative, dualistic experience, which is always fabricated. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's like, it does make sense.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and that's where devotion comes in, like altars.
Yes.
Like,
exactly.
I dress my altar every day because... Are you good? Oh.
Yeah.
Because that's my devotion.
Mm-hmm.
And it reflects devotion not only to my ancestors or to whoever I have my altar for. Yeah. It's devotion to myself and it's ritual.
Totally.
And I feel like my mind was going, I'm like, I have so many things to say. It's so many things to add on.
It's like that sometimes.
But it's like...
the construction of gods. And it's so trippy to me. I'm just going to keep riffing for a little.
Yeah.
And we have to finish up in a little bit because I have a client. I'm sure that there's more people coming in. But for me, when we are constructing gods, again, we choose to either make a world full of gods, or if we buy into the atheistic view, which again I don't recommend, you create a world where there are no gods and you're in this flat, lifeless place. And it's so trippy to me because these gods that we create, whether they're the Hindu pantheon of gods, the archangels, whatever it is, they're archetypes. And it's like we have these two theaters of experience. One is the 3D material. Another mirrored theater is the theater of the gods. And they exist in the mind. And we have this dance between the imaginal God realm and the human realm, where we are creating the gods and simultaneously we are channeling those imaginal figures in us all the time. Hercules, Hermes, Aphrodite, those are just Greek gods. But we are always channeling these archetypes consciously and unconsciously. So the gods create us, and we are actually also creating the gods. It blows my fucking mind to say that, but it's really how it works.
Yeah, and to tell someone that that's not true is creating the separation. And that's where I'm trying to strip the layers or like bridge the gap of just saying, different strokes for different folks.
Amen,
like as simple
exactly.
as that is, like just let people live.
Yeah.
And you can preach and be yourself and be who you are, but the problem with the spirituality out there is saying that you are wrong and I am right. Let me fix you. And that's where my spiritual fucked comes from.
Beautiful.
And you talk about you being a spiritual fuckboy. That's you right now, authentically, and living through that. And that can change at any moment, as I can change at any moment. I could be, I don't know, I could go get a 9-to-5 job tomorrow and get a vaccine. And that's great. That's who I choose to be. But who I am right now is by my choice. Yeah. And my word for this year was confidence. And for next year, again, intuition speaks before logic makes sense. The word I quote unquote channeled or got to me was loyalty. And I thought, well, that's weird. Isn't loyalty being loyal to other people? Like, am I gonna like bow to others and be loyal to my friends? And then I was like, oh no, I'm gonna be loyal to myself. Yeah. Because I spent this whole entire time stripping the layers of who I thought I had to be for others to like me. Yeah. And I finally am at a place where I am confident in my own truth, whatever that truth is in the moment. It could change tomorrow. But being loyal to that. And that's what loyalty means to me. And that's kind of why that word chose me almost. Because I'm like, oh, I need to be loyal to myself.
That's heat.
Devoted. Devotion.
And I think that like loyalty and confidence, loyalty to self and self-confidence, they come together. You cannot have self-confidence and not be loyal to who you are and what you are. So we can keep riffing forever, and we definitely have to.
There'll be a part 2,
There
3,
has
4.
to be. There has to be. This is you're awesome. This is dope. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I feel blessed that the stars had led us to that trippy circumstance at the sauna place. Yeah. And now we get to have these fucking crazy conversations.
That's life, man. And you can't plan for that. That's the thing, is you can't.
It falls in your lap.
You can't make shit up, okay?
Exactly. You can't make shit up. But, sometimes you make shit up. But anyways, but it is true, like those destined things kind of do fall in your lap in weird, trippy, angelic kind of ways. So, Taylor, do you want to shout out yourself, shout out your social, shout out whatever you do?
Instagram, Taylor Mulholland. And then I have a website, sadflowerswritten.com. That's where you can find my poetry book. I do astrology readings, and I do many things. I wear many hats. I'm a very silly girl, but that's what I do.
And she's hella spiritual.
And yeah.
And you have the podcast Spiritually Fucked.
I have a podcast. Let's see. Oh, I do combo. If you're in Boulder, I do one-on-one combo sessions.
I'll do combo with you.
Dude, combo.
I've never done it.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Talk about pain.
Take
and transmuting.
Take me there.
And then I do hands-on body work, tobacco, hoppe. I do all of it.
Let's go.
Let's go. That's who I am.
Yes, the hella spiritual fucked podcast host. And I am the host of Spiritual Fucked Boy, Benjamen Arthur Duffy, Esquire. Just kidding. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for listening.
Okay, bye.
Bye.